Hi, my name's Mindy and welcome to my channel. As you can probably tell, I have a little bit of a voice thing going on, so hopefully I'll be able to get through all of these books before I completely lose my voice. I'm going to be doing a book haul for October the 16th through October the 22nd. And all these I got for a review. So the first book I have is The Bodies We Wear, and it came out last month. Well, actually, it came out two years ago, last month. And people say when you take HEAM, your body momentarily dies and you catch a glimpse of heaven. I saw something else. I saw hell. So this sounded interesting. And the next book I have is called Schizo, Hidden in Plain Sight. Takes readers on a wildly unexpected journey into the what-ifs of medical science. Ambitious future surgeon Dan Greenberg is assigned a bizarre schizophrenic patient who reveals to him information about an organized plot to control the population. Drawn by both curiosity and compassion, Dan investigates, discovering that they were exactly where Catherine said they would be. Who are these people? Why are they in danger? Why are they in danger? His pursuit of the truth leads him to become a psychiatric patient in the same facility. So, I'm not sure when this came out. Doesn't say. So, but it sounds interesting. Even though that was a little bit ambiguous. The Captive Heart, a novel by Michelle Greep. And this is a Christian novel, historical fiction. The American wilderness is no place for an elegant English governess. On the run from a brute of an aristocratic employer, Eleanor Morgan escapes from England to America, the land of the free, for the opportunity to serve an upstanding Charlestown family. But freedom is hard to come by as an indentured servant, and downright impossible when she's forced to agree to an even harsher contract: marriage to a man she's never met. Backwoodsman Samuel Heath doesn't care what others think of him, but his young daughter's upbringing matters very much. A life of a trapper in the Carolina country is no life for a small girl, but neither is abandoning his child to another family. He decides it's time to marry again, but that proves to be an impossible task. Who wants to wed a murderer? Both Samuel and Eleanor are survivors, facing down the threat of war, betrayal, and divided loyalties that could cost them everything. But this time they must face their biggest challenge ever: love. Okay. And the next book is The Forgetting. It's a suspense book about living in the city of Canaan, where life is safe and structured, hemmed in by white stone walls and no memory of what came before. But every 12 years the city descends into the bloody chaos of the forgetting, a day of no consequences and no remorse, when each person's memory of parents, children, love, life, and self are lost and forgotten, unless they have been written. In Canaan, your book is your truth and your identity, and Nadia knows exactly who hasn't written the truth, because Nadia is the only person in Canaan who is never forgotten. But when Nadia begins to use her memories to push beyond the walls and solve the mysteries of Canaan, She discovers truths about herself and Gray, the handsome and enigmatic glassblower that will change her world forever. As the anarchy of the next forgetting approaches, Nadia and Gray must stop an unseen enemy that threatens both their city and their own existence before the people can forget the truth and before Gray can forget her. So, this is by Sharon Cameron. And I had seen it on a couple of hauls and reviews on other channels, and so I thought it sounded interesting. And then the next one is The Red Bandana by Tom Rinaldi, and it's the story of Wells Crowther, whose decision, determination, and sacrifice in the terror of 9/11 offers a lasting lesson on character, calling, and courage. And this came out in September, so I thought it sounded interesting. It's about a man who goes into the buildings and the people talked about him because he had a red bandana. And then Ever the Hunted by Aaron Summerall. Ever the Outcast, Ever the Brave. And this comes out in December. 17-year-old Britta Flannery is at ease only in the woods with her dagger and bow. She spends her days tracking criminals alongside her father, a legendary bounty hunter for the King of Malam. That is, until her father is murdered. The alleged killer is none other than Cohen McKay, her father's former apprentice, the only friend she's ever known, the boy she once loved who broke her heart. Britta must go on a treacherous quest in a world of warring kingdoms, mad kings, and dark magic to find the real killer. But Britta wields more power than she knows, and soon she will learn that what has always made her different will make her a daunting and dangerous force. And it's a fantasy. And then this is called Answering the Tough Questions About God and the Bible by Bruce Bickle and Stan Jantz. I read one book by them. I have another book by them, and I just thought that they make learning about the Bible different, interesting. Is God real? How can you know? Can I trust what the Bible says about God? Why is the Bible so hard to understand? Why do Christians say Jesus is the only way to God? How do God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit relate to one another? Does God really care about me and my life? And then The Secret Language of Sisters by Luann Rice. And this came out in February of this year. Two sisters, one text, one accident will change everything. Okay. And then Christmas on My Mind by Janet Daly. This came out this month. The little town of Branding Iron, Texas keeps an annual tradition that makes the holidays especially festive, the Cowboys Christmas Ball. But Sheriff Ben Marsden, busy with work, joint custody of son, and caring for his aging mother, has no plans to attend. Not until a pretty newcomer to his small town gets involved in the planning. Suddenly, Ben finds himself wanting to keep a close eye on Jessica Ramsey, and not just because her relatives seem to be in jail more than not out. He can tell the mysterious redhead has secrets in her past, but now that she's bought a little fixer-upper with her mom to start a bed and breakfast, the whole family's turning over a new leaf. With the prospects of dancing and celebrating ahead, surely there's time for everyone to unwind, because this year, more than ever, Ben's got Christmas and loving on his mind. And usually Christmas romances are usually about the only romances I really like. So I thought this sounded kind of interesting. And then there's A Colorado Christmas by William W. Johnston with J.A. Johnston. And this comes out next month. William W. Johnston and J.A. Johnston, the New York Times and USA Today best-selling masters of the American frontier, continue their holiday tradition to bring you back to the early days of Big Rock, Colorado, where stories are passed down from generation to generation, where legends live on and heroes never die, and where one family's Christmas gathering turns into a gun-slinging fight for survival. With a snowstorm brewing, a community in jeopardy, and a showdown ready to explore, 5 of the Jonestown's most legendary pioneers, Smoke Jensen, Preacher, and Luke Jensen, and the twins Ace and Chance Jensen, are brought together by fate and fury to forge peace on earth, but they're going to have to fight for it. This Christmas, the greatest gift of all is staying alive. And then there's Snowfall on Haven Point by Ray Ann Thane. And this doesn't say when it comes out. And the next one comes out in January. So it's been 2 rough years since Andrea Montgomery lost her husband, and all she wants is for her children to enjoy their first Christmas in Haven Point. But then Andrea's friend asks a favor, to keep an eye on her brother, Sheriff Marshall Bailey, who's recovering from a hit and run. Andy will do anything for Wynn, even park her own misgivings to check on her grouchy, wounded bear of a brother. Marshall hates feeling defenseless and resents the protective impulses that Andy brings out in him, but when a blizzard forces them together for the holidays, something in Marshall begins to thaw. Andy's gentle nature is a salve, and her kids' excitement for the holidays makes him forget why he never wanted a family. If only he and Andy can admit that what they really want, each other, their Christmas wishes might come true after all. And then there's The Fifth Petal by Brenoia Berry. She's the author of The Lace Reader, and this comes out in January of next year. In contemporary Salem, a murder has taken place with roots that reach back to the 17th century witch trials, filled with twists and turns as well as ancient tradition and modern mystery. Berry's story has deft pacing, a marvelous sense of place, and quirky cast of characters. The Fifth Petal is another haunting tale by the author of The Lace Reader, where past and present collide. I thought that sounded really interesting. And then The Education of Dixie Dupree by Donna Everhart. And this comes out next month. In 1969, Dixie Dupree is 11 years old and already an expert liar. Sometimes the lies are for her mama, Evie's sake, to explain away a bruise brought on by her quick as lightning temper. And sometimes the lies are to spite Evie, who longs to leave her unhappy marriage in Perry County, Alabama, and return to her beloved New Hampshire. But for Dixie and her brother, Alabama is home, a place of pine-scented breezes and hot, languid afternoons. Though Dixie is learning that the family she once believed was happy has deep fractures, even her vivid imagination can't concoct the events about to unfold. Dixie records everything in her diary: her parents' fights, her father's drinking and his unexplained departure, and the arrival of Uncle Ray. Only when Dixie desperately needs help and is met with disbelief does she explain how much damage her past lives have done. Does she realize how much damage her past lives have done? But she has courage and a spirit that may yet prevail, forcing Dick's secrets into the open and allowing her to forgive and become whole again. So, seems like a lot of these books are having reflection problems. And this one's probably no different. It says Holly Chamberlain's The Season of Us. Comes out next month. To outsiders, Appleville, New Hampshire is a storybook small town complete with a little white church and a gazebo on the village green. To Jinsey Gannon Luengo, it was a place to escape from as quickly and as permanently as she could. Since she moved away 20 years ago, Appleville has been her hometown in name only. But at her brother Tommy's urging, Jinsey is coming back to visit their recently widowed mother in the weeks leading up to Christmas, and she's bringing her teenage daughter, Tamsin, with her. Ellen Gannon, once feisty and strong-willed, is mired in depression 6 months after losing her husband. Tommy isn't doing much better. Jinsey starts restoring order to the household in her usual practical way, but the real issues run much deeper than an empty fridge or an unpaid bill. Imagined slights and lingering resentments have created schisms between them all. With each passing day, Jinsey realizes she has seriously undervalued her mother and underestimated her brother. Only now, with the support of her husband, daughter, and best friends, is she starting to see how much she may have missed. For beyond the surface of every family and every picturesque town is a something more complicated but infinitely more rewarding. A tapestry of those small acts of acceptance, love, and loyalty that could transform this Christmas into the best Jinsey's ever known. And the next book is Sidewalk Gardens of New York, and this is a coffee table book that just has pictures of flowers and gardens and etc. around New York City. So that's neat. Oops, over here. And the last book I have is called Exploring the Roots and Shoots of Faith, The Radical Book for Kids by Champ Thornton. And this is just talks to just different things. Like this is here are some tips to get started in reading the book, the Bible, getting a good translation, have a plan, find a place and a time, and then learn the Hebrew alphabet, and Bible Times calendar, major Hebrew holidays, how to memorize anything, Psalms of praise, Psalms of lament, and Psalms of thanksgiving. This is all about the Psalms. This is a recipe about flatbread and a guide to unclean eating and modeling the Lord's Prayer. It's, just different things that's written out real simple for kids so they can understand things. So, and that was my last book. I hope you are having a good week. Well, it's only Sunday, so, but I hope you have a good week, and I hope you enjoyed learning about some of these new books. Have a great week, rest of this week, and stop by again. Thanks. Bye.